What up, what up, what up? This is Isaiah, and this is the Starts With a Vision podcast, but also this is we're really going to be doing a few different things, and what we're going to be doing is really focusing on the direct-to-consumer topic and conversation. And so I took a break from content for some years, and then I came back, and then I really got really busy inside of my business. And so now I'm at a point where I'm really ready to give a lot of insight and information from the perspective of direct to consumer and also from a strategical perspective, right? So this is the podcast, and this is also the video podcast. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing with you guys different concepts, philosophies, and ways to think in order for you to grow your direct-to-consumer brand, right? We're in a time where direct-to-consumer is the most important thing to focus on in your business model if you have a product-based business. And so I really want to, bring to light what's really important. And, if you don't know me, I have a eyewear company, SWAV Eyewear. SWAV stands for Starts With the Vision, hence Starts With a Vision podcast. And I also have a strategical branding agency called SWAV Agency. SWAV stands for Starts With a Vision, right? And so I work with quite a few brands. And on a month-to-month basis, I work with brands doing between 2 and 6 million a year, and we're looking to take them to 10 million plus. And so in this process, I've learned a great amount of information, right? In order to, how do you scale a brand? How do you grow a brand? What's important? And so that's what we're going to be talking about, right? We're going to be coming out with an episode 2 days a week right now. And then we're going to grow from there. So this is going to be a raw, uncut, deep podcast and platform, right? I'm not going to filter myself, right? If you want to, consume this information, then come on. If you don't, then I'm really not for you, because I'm really sharing things from what I've seen firsthand. This isn't, stuff coming from a book, third party. This is first party information. So today's topic and episode is, I have a little flashcard right here. And these episodes, I do one take, and I don't sit here and have a whole outline, right? But the topic of today is, in order to go big, start small and be patient. And so when I look at brands that are direct to consumer, even service-based brands, that are big, and I'm talking about big companies, right? Apple, the biggest companies in the world, Microsoft, and you look at the history of them, Zappos, things like that. I've noticed a commonality between all these big brands. And so working with certain brands, I've seen the difference between how their audience responds to new product releases or sales or discounts, promotions, whatever the case may be. And so when I look back at it, I've learned and I've seen that the biggest brands, the companies that have actual brands, there's a difference between a brand and a company. And we're going to really dive into all of that in these episodes. But one of the biggest things is what differentiates a brand from a company is a brand has a group of people that know where they started from, right? A brand has a group of people that knows and understands the narrative of this brand, right? A company has people that buy and that utilize the service, but it doesn't have a group of people that are like fanatics for this, right? And so when you think about it, I know a lot of people that have product-based businesses, and we're in such a time where everybody wants to grow fast. Literally, everybody wants to scale fast. Everybody wants to make $1 million fast, right? But it's like, hold on. Everybody that I see that's really winning and making millions, they have a brand. And here's the thing. You can be making millions of dollars and not have a brand. That's a whole nother episode. But we're gonna dive into all of this. And that's why I'm so excited about, the direction of where we're gonna take this, because there's a lot of, not only misguidance, but there's a lot of people that even think that they're winning and they may not be. They really may be at risk. Their brand may be at risk. And so I want to really, really, really shed light to that. So if you sit and go back to Apple, a really, really, really big company, of course we see the memes and stuff. They started in a garage, right? But what is the power of starting small? When you really dive into it, what's the power of starting small? So we have two companies, right? Think about this. You have one company that went from 0 to 2 million or 0 to 5 million in 18 months. And then you have a company that went from 0 to 5 million in 5 years. There's going to be a difference between those two companies. And I'm talking about internally, that the consumer and that, people on the outside looking in can't see. We always look at companies and think that because we saw a screenshot of an amount of revenue, that's a success. There are people doing 2-3 million a year that are stressed out, living month to month, right? They're not really happy. So the thing about it is, if there's a company that grew so fast, number one, we don't even know what that growth looks like. We don't know what the back end looks like. We don't know, is that a healthy growth, right? Is that a healthy, couple million? Or is that business about to go down because they grew too fast? And one thing I learned is time allows a foundation to be laid, right? Time allows a foundation to be laid. What do I mean? Time allows you to be able to build up your customer base and your customer base to grow fond of you. If you grow in 18 months and you start making millions, your customers truly aren't super, super, super fanatics just yet. Unless you've had an elaborate marketing budget that you can spend to get them so used to your product. See, when you're talking about growing your company, making millions, what happens is we hear all the time, 0 to million, 0 to 2 million. And it's like, if you get to 2-3 million, right? You either have a large marketing budget or you got lucky, right? You either had a large marketing budget or you got lucky. So there's people out here that are trying to make 0 to 1 million in 2 years organically. And the only real way for that to happen is if they were to, go viral, or some celebrity was to endorse their product, and then it just blows up, right? But even that's not sustainable. And a lot of the companies that start really, really, really small, they're a lot more sustainable long term. And it's very important to start asking yourself, as you're growing your company, as you have a business, you got to ask yourself, like, what type of company do I actually want to have? What type of brand do I want to have? You have to ask yourself these things rather than, I just want to make money. I just want to make millions. Like, that cannot be the metric of what you're really looking to do and really looking to accomplish. There has to be something else. There has to be something different. There has to be something more than just money. And over time, you're going to see, I always talk about that. It has to be more than money. Because if it's not more than money, you're not going to be as motivated. You're not going to be willing to go the extra mile. Your only motivation is going to be money. And if you're only willing to do things for just money, then you're truly not fulfilled and you're truly not doing it for all the right reasons, right? Because, and I'm talking about a brand. Always remember, I am talking about those who want to build a brand. If you want to just go make money, then there's a million different other things you can do to just go make money. But we're talking about building something sustainable, and one day that thing can, get sold and acquired for a multiple of what you're doing right now, whatever that revenue is, right? So I really want you to think about this. If you have a business and it's a product-based business and you're like, I want to grow, I want to grow, I want to grow. Ask yourself, am I really ready for that growth? Am I really, really, really ready for that growth? Am I really, really, really ready to go from $5,000 a month to $300,000 a month in 18 months? Because a lot of people say that they want that, but understanding that, there's real levels to this game. A lot of people are afraid to invest $5,000 into their business, but they say they want to make millions. So if we break it down, $1 million a year is $83,333 a month. If you're making that amount of revenue a month, most likely you're going to be spending, $20K, and that's really generous, maybe $30K a month in expenses on inventory, on marketing, staffing, graphics, admin, software, all that stuff. So if your mind isn't even ready to be investing into all this money, right, into your business, then how are you going to get to the millions? How are you going to get to the millions? It just doesn't make sense, right? And so you really have to start assessing things from a strategical perspective. And that's why I'm very, very, very big on strategy. Because strategy is what's going to make you millions. Strategy is what's going to allow you to be patient. Strategy will allow you to have a long-term success. Strategy, strategy, strategy. And what is strategy? Strategy is, what's this overarching vision and how are we going to get there without breaking our necks, right? Without sacrificing our positioning. These are all strategy, strategical ways of thinking. And this is what big companies do. When you look at the biggest companies in the world, or even if you work at a corporate company, right? The higher you go, the more meetings you're going to be in. The higher you go, the more meetings you're going to be in. Why is that? Because thinking is the most valuable thing that you can do on this planet. Literally, thinking is the most valuable thing that you can do on this planet, because the mind is where the real wealth is at. Everything on this planet came from the actual mind and the brain of a human being. Computers came from the brain. So if computers came from the brain and computers are what run our life in society right now, that lets you know how powerful the mind is. So we really should be using our mind to grow our businesses from a strategical perspective, rather than, just thinking that we can do one thing and just make money and that's it, right? So if you're a company, number one, I want to ask you, or I want you to ask yourself, do I have a brand or do I have a company? And then ask yourself, where did I start? How did I start? And then if you sit here and you start, like you look back on your journey, you look back at where you started, then I want you to compare that with the connection that you have with your customer base, right? If you don't have that much of a connection, then maybe it's time to start looking to connect deeper with your customer base rather than a sale, right? Rather than a discount, rather than a new drop, and that's it. Sacrifice 3% of your revenue to actually care about the customers that are literally allowing you to live your life, right? That's what's going to get you to another level that you've never been able to experience. That's what's going to get you to a level that, you probably couldn't even fathom, right? That's what's going to make your costs to acquire a customer drop, because it's about branding and positioning more than it is about, marketing. I know most people will tell you it's all about marketing, but if you don't have a position or a brand, then what do you have to market, right? Your brand is the inside of your company, the DNA. Your marketing is amplifying what this is about. So you really have to dive in to what is the brand about. And a lot of people don't have a brand. That's why they mask it with all the marketing and all the flashiness, right? But when we really dive in and dive deep, it's really about the brand. So these are some things that I've learned, consulting brands, helping them get closer to 8 figures. And I have a plethora of things that I've learned. And so I really want to, share the information with people, because I know that it can change your life if you really apply it and, take the things that I say as true. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today in regards to just being the first episode. And then we're gonna really go into some more stuff. But I want to really challenge you and ask you, how is your company doing in comparison with how it started? Some may say, oh, it started great and I didn't start small. That's fine. But if you take that small mind approach and you start trying to connect with people that are part of your customers, your brand will become stronger. And that's a fact. Doesn't matter how much revenue you're doing. Doesn't matter how good you think that you have a connection with your customer. Keep trying to get a better connection, right? Because that'll change your life and that'll change your business. So that's what we got for you guys today. We're talking about direct to consumer for product-based business owners. If you have a service-based business, these philosophies and principles, they can be applied to your business, but I'm just speaking to the product-based business owner because I love product-based business, right? So till next time, I'm gonna talk to y'all. Hit me up, let me know how you like this episode. If you're on YouTube, drop the link in the comments. Always remember that everything you do in life starts with a vision.